Trump is back in the White House, and he's wasting no time making bold moves. From sweeping immigration crackdowns to aggressive trade policies and controversial pardons, his second term is set to bring drastic changes across the board, with plans to reshape the government, overhaul energy policies, and take a hard stance on global issues. The question is, how far will he go this time? Stay tuned, because things are about to get intense. This is Lux Diaries. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Launch a largest deportation program in U.S. history. First things first, Trump and his second term in power promise a grand start at the country's borders. He's more adamant about the policies on immigration, and this time more aggressive than before. Since the start of his 2024 campaign, he's been crystal clear about his plans to increase deportations, secure borders, and be strict on whoever intends to immigrate illegally. And now, he's wasting no time. During a rally in Washington, D.C., he clearly said that his administration's next move is going to be what he claims as the most aggressive, sweeping effort to restore our borders the world has ever seen. Tom Homan, his incoming border czar, is already spelling out how it will be done. Massive raids are likely to commence on Tuesday, targeting people regarded as security or safety threats. Under the Biden administration, border crossings hit record highs, but in the past 6 months, numbers have taken a dip. Still, Trump's camp argues that his landslide victory is proof that Americans want action, and fast. He's made it clear that his goal is to take a hardline stance against the estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. And he's not just talking about stricter policies. He's ready to declare a national emergency to round up millions, place them in massive detention centers, and push for rapid deportations. Reports suggest that new executive actions will grant federal immigration officers greater power to arrest individuals without criminal records, deploy more troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, and even restart construction of the border wall. Trigger tariff wars. Another thing, Trump is ready to reignite the tariff wars, and this time he's setting his sights on America's closest neighbors, Mexico and Canada. He's vowed to slap a hefty 25% tariff on imported goods from both countries, blaming them for failing to curb the flow of drugs and undocumented migrants into the U.S. If he follows through, it could spark major trade disputes with two of America's biggest trading partners and throw the North American trade agreement into chaos. While some experts see these threats as typical Trump-style negotiation tactics, complete with the eyebrow-raising suggestion that Canada should just become part of the U.S., others warn that the economic fallout could be severe. But he is not stopping there. He's also planning to hit China with an additional 10% tariff on their products, stacking it on top of the tariffs he imposed during his first term. His argument? China hasn't done enough to crack down on the production of chemicals used to make fentanyl, a crisis he's determined to tackle head-on. The big question now, will these tariff threats become reality? Or are they just another bold move to force America's trading partners to the bargaining table? Either way, the global market is bracing for impact. Pardon Jan, 6 Capitol insurgents. Interestingly, Trump is gearing up to make good on one of his most controversial promises, pardoning those convicted for their role in the January 6th Capitol attack. According to sources familiar with the plan, his team has already drafted a list of pardons set to roll out on day 1, right after he takes the oath of office. Throughout his campaign, he made it clear that he sees the January 6th defendants as victims of political persecution. He's called them hostages and political prisoners, and has vowed to grant major pardons to those caught up in the aftermath. In a December interview with Time magazine, he even joked that he might start reviewing cases within the first 9 minutes of his presidency. The extent of these pardons remains uncertain, but sources indicate that it will be enough to make a statement and reassure his supporters that he is getting it done. To date, approximately 1,270 individuals were convicted in association with the riot, with the majority opting for plea deals. However, only a few hundred are currently behind bars. What remains unclear is how he plans to handle cases involving violence against law enforcement officers, an issue that even some of his allies have been cautious about addressing. Ceasefire deal in Gaza. Interestingly, before even stepping back into office, Trump had already made a big impact in the Middle East by helping push through a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Talking about Gaza, he described the area as a massive demolition site and said it will need to be rebuilt in a different way. While Biden put pressure on Hamas and other Palestinian groups, he didn't push Israel as hard. But Trump took a different approach and made sure both sides were involved. Now, Trump is taking credit for making the ceasefire happen. The deal started on Sunday and has stopped the fighting for now. The war began after Hamas attacked southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing over 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages. Some Arab officials say Trump's pressure was key to making the deal work, but not everyone is happy. Families of the hostages are still worried because the deal will only free some people now, while others will have to wait for more talks and hope the ceasefire lasts. The newly sworn-in U.S. president, who promised in his inauguration speech to be a peacemaker and end all wars, also shared his hopes for a big diplomatic breakthrough. He said a peace deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia could happen soon, and maybe even before the end of the year. Moves on energy and government operations. Trump's second term is set to hit the ground running with sweeping changes to federal government operations and energy policy. One of the first major moves on his agenda is bringing back Schedule F that would curtail or eliminate job protections for federal workers. He signed a version of the executive order shortly before the 2020 election, but it was withdrawn by Biden. Another big shakeup is coming with the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency. It will be led by billionaire Elon Musk and businessman Vivek Ramaswamy. Musk has been quietly putting together a team at his SpaceX office in Washington, working with his people to get ready. The department's job isn't fully clear yet, but the plan is to make the government work faster and better, using new ideas and technology. In addition to restructuring the government, he is taking aim at diversity, equity, and inclusion policies put in place during Biden's presidency. His administration plans to roll back those initiatives and remove gender-related executive orders that have been championed over the past 4 years. According to incoming advisor Stephen Miller, these changes will be enacted swiftly through executive orders, signaling a sharp policy reversal from the previous administration. Energy is another area he is focusing on. He plans to declare a national emergency to boost U.S. energy production. This means cutting down rules, speeding up permits, and allowing more drilling on federal lands. His goal is to grow American energy and make the country less dependent on others for fuel. With all these changes set to happen right away, it's clear that his return will bring a lot of big moves, and things won't be the same as before. Trump is already looking far beyond the tasks voters assigned him. Well, Trump may have won the election by tapping into voter frustration over soaring prices and the ongoing border crisis, but he's already setting his sights far beyond the immediate challenges voters expect him to tackle. With the country still feeling the sting of economic strain and a lack of trust in government, many are looking to him for quick fixes, especially when it comes to essentials like eggs and milk, which he's acknowledged won't be easy to bring down in price. However, if his latest rally is any indication, he isn't just focused on the basics. He's promising sweeping, transformational change across multiple fronts. At the event, he painted a grand vision for his second term, declaring that every American will prosper, every family will thrive, and the country stands on the verge of its greatest 4 years. It's an ambitious promise, but history, his first-term challenges, and a narrowly divided Congress suggest that turning these bold claims into reality won't be easy. His appeal has always been built on his outsider persona and no-holds-barred approach, but the real test of his leadership this time around will come down to action, not just rhetoric. Whether his administration can go beyond the spectacle and deliver lasting, meaningful change remains to be seen. For now, Americans are watching, waiting, and expecting results fast. But one thing, at one of his rallies, he took a rare moment to reflect on his legacy, hinting that his second term could leave a stronger and more accepted mark than his first. He seemed to recognize that this time around, he has a chance to reshape history in a way that sticks. But before any of that happens, his former advisor, Steve Bannon, has warned that the early days of his return will be anything but calm, calling them the days of thunder. Whether people are ready or not, big changes are coming, and they're coming fast. But what do you think? Is America ready for what's coming? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one.